In our reading today, Mark returns to Jesus' ministry of healing, but this time there is a more miraculous tone to the story. We just witnessed with the children a woman restored to life by simply touching Jesus' robe, and Jesus restoring life to a child by a simple command. The passage I'm reading this morning precedes this healing story, but is essential to see as part of the healing story itself. We begin with Jesus calming a stormy sea, which is followed by Jesus calming a stormy mind. These stories of calming seas and minds give us a new way of understanding what it means to be healed. Healing is the first century Mediterranean culture was not about being cured, but rather was about having your life restored, both personally and in the community. Keep in mind as you hear this reading that Mark is writing metaphorical narrative and not historical fact, so that we might understand the spirit of Jesus and his relationship with God. The reading is from Mark 4:35 to 5:20. On that day, when evening had come, Jesus said to them, "Let us go across to the other side." And leaving the crowd behind, they took him with them in the boat. Other boats were with him. A great windstorm arose, and the waves beat the boat, so that the boat was already being swamped. But Jesus was in the stern, asleep on a cushion. And they woke him up and said, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" He woke up and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." Then the wind ceased, and there was dead calm. He said to them, "Why are you afraid? Have you no faith?" And they were filled with great awe and said to one another, "Who is this then, that even the seas and the wind obey him?" They came to the other side of the sea, to the country of Gerasenes, and when he had stepped out of the boat, immediately a man of the tombs with an unclean spirit met him. He lived among the tombs, and no one could restrain him any more, even with a chain, for he had often been restrained with shackles and chains. But the chains he wrenched apart, and the shackles he broke in pieces, and no one had the strength to subdue him. Night and day, among the tombs and on the mountains, he was howling and bruising himself with stones. When he saw Jesus from a distance, he ran and bowed down before him, and he shouted at the top of his voice, "What have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beseech you, by God, do not torment me." For he had said to him, "Come out of the man, you unclean spirit." Then Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" He replied, "My name is Legion, for we are many." He begged him earnestly not to send them out of the country. Now there on the hillside was a great herd of swine feeding, and the unclean spirits begged them to send us into the swine, let us enter them. So he gave them permission, and then the unclean spirits came out and entered the swine, and the herd, numbering about 2,000, rushed down to the sea over the steep bank and into the sea, and were all drowned. The swineherds ran off and told it in the city and in the country. Then people came to see what it was that had happened. They came to Jesus and saw the demonic sitting there, clothed and in his right mind, the very man who had the legion, and they were afraid. Those who had seen what had happened to the demonic and to the swine reported it. Then they began to beg Jesus to leave their neighborhood. As he was getting into the boat, the man who had been possessed by demons begged him that he might go with him. But Jesus refused and said to him, "Go home to your friends and tell them how much God has done for you, what compassion God has shown." And he went away and began to proclaim in Decapolis how much Jesus had done for him, and everyone was amazed. Hear what the Spirit is saying to the church.
Thanks, Joyce.